Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the RacingBet preview, previewing Australian Guineas Day at Flemington, Randwick Guineas Day at Randwick, provided it goes ahead after a week of torrential rain in Sydney. And speaking of Sydney, this week we're joined by Billy Bestford. Of course, Trent's left us for greener pastures, so he says, but he's done a phenomenal job finding winners over the past couple of years. And we've subbed in Billy, who's just as capable. He's tipped us 2 out of 4 during the day today at Kyneton and Pakenham. And we're welcoming him to the RacingBet preview to find the winners in Melbourne. Billy, how are you?
Going good, thanks, Tim. It's good to be back on the preview show. Hopefully I can do just as good a job as Trent, and I'll be going all right.
Yeah, I don't think we've had you on since Melbourne Cup preview, so it's been a while.
Yep.
I don't know what our success rate was like for the Melbourne Cup.
I think that's when you said very elegant couldn't win.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Heard a lot. But we've been doing a little bit better in recent weeks. We've had a really good week tipping-wise. We've found a few more winners at Happy Valley in Hong Kong last night. So we've got a few full pockets. You've done well today at Kyneton and Pakenham. What do you make of the card at Flemington on the weekend?
Yeah, it's a good card. Obviously, we're starting to really get into the Group 1 action now. Really looking forward to a few of the races. And the weather's meant to be a bit better than here in Sydney, so that's always a positive.
Yeah, well, speaking of Sydney, how many mils of rain have you had over there?
5,000. It's been absolutely bucketing the last 10 days. So...
Well, hopefully racing goes ahead once again. Like it did last weekend, it was pretty amazing how well the track at Randwick actually played last weekend, given the rain. Everyone was calling for it to be abandoned, but it actually raced really well and really fairly. So long may that continue. Let's hope we get another week such as that. We've got 2 Group 1s on the card in Sydney, the Randwick Guineas and the Canterbury Stakes. Over at Flemington, you've got the Australian Guineas headline in the card. We're going to take a look at all 3 of those Group 1s. We're also going to throw out our best bets for each track. And Billy's going to throw out one at value as well. So plenty to get through. And as you can see, this week's episode is brought to you by betdeluxe.com.au, serious betting for serious punters. And we ask that you do support our partners because in doing so, you support the show and keep us afloat. So if you are having a bet this weekend, please do so through the Bet Deluxe website. And if you need to sign up, please do so through our links. Any questions throughout the show or anything to add, make sure you submit your comments. If you're watching us live on YouTube or Facebook, please do like our pages and subscribe to our channels. Every little bit helps. And like we did last week, if you've got anything to add to the show, just put your comment there and we can feature it as we go. Billy, let's get straight into things with our best bets because, like I said, there's plenty to get through this week. And your best is going to come up in race number 3 at Flemington. This horse is starting to build a very nice little record. Race 3, number 9, Rose Courts, currently $2.40 with Bet Deluxe.
Yeah, so like you said, he's starting to really hit his straps now. He's probably flying and he's probably arguably could be unbeaten this prep. So you can see his last start here. He had a pretty easy lead up the straight, but he sort of kicked away from him, and I really was really impressed by that. I'm pretty sure he was well backed on the day as well. He's 2 from 2 track and trip, and I just think he's probably going a bit better than a few of these. Still got some upside about him, and yeah, I'm really keen.
Beautiful. So that's race 3, number 9, Rose Courts. I'm going to combine my best and my value bet basically into one this week. It's not often that I throw a best out at this sort of price, but I just said to Billy before we hit record that I seem to back this horse every single time it returns to races first up from a spell. And this is at Randwick in the final event. So hopefully the track's still playing fairly by then. But I'm keen on race 10, number 6, Tricky Gal. She's currently $9.50. I think we're getting upwards of $3 for the place. This was her first up last preparation. If you look right at the back of the field on the rail in the pink and the bluey greeny kind of sleeves, this was her finishing second, I think, on this occasion behind Menage. That's obviously a pretty handy form reference, given Menage went on to win again after this. And back in third was actually a horse called Bellucci Babe. I think she meets Bellucci Babe once again in this race. She does. Bellucci Babe's currently a $5 chance, and Tricky Gal's double that at around $9.50. So I can't understand the price. The first up record of this horse is just tremendous. She's had 5 starts for 3 wins and 2 second placings. Her record on soft ground and wet ground in particular is also terrific. I think she's had 13 starts on wet ground for 3 wins and 7 second placings. So 10 out of her 13 starts on rain-affected ground, she's finished in the top 2. And like I said, she's never finished out of the top 2 from 5 starts first up. So we're getting $9.50 and upwards of $3 the place. And for me, I think that's a standout bet on the card. So I'm happy to make her my best each way on kind of a 1x3 unit basis. Race 10, number 6, Tricky Gal. Billy, we'll throw over to you at Flemington. You're going to find something at value for us. Race 5, number 11, Shadow Devil, currently $7 with Bet Deluxe. You're pretty keen here.
Yeah, so this horse is coming down from Sydney. He's obviously taking a big step up in grade here, coming out of a 64, I'm pretty sure. But the win last start, if you get a chance to watch the replay, is one of the more incredible wins you'll see, especially at Gosford. So I'm pretty sure this horse could be quite good. And obviously the stable got a bit of opinion. Ollie jumped straight on. And I think he's going to be charging late. And I really like the upside about him. So at an each way price, you can back him. Up the straight.
Unmute myself before I start talking. So that was race 5, number 11, Shadow Devil at Flemington. Billy's best value bet of the day. All right, let's get into the Group 1s. We've got 3 of them to get through. Might as well start over in Sydney. And the first of those is the Canterbury Stakes, which I found a really difficult race to kind of assess. Billy, I'll throw to you first. I know you keep your eye on Sydney racing a fair bit. What did you make of this race? Because it's got me a little bit confused.
Yeah, well, obviously with the bog track we're expecting, that's always makes it a bit interesting with some of these runners. I mean, it's hard to ignore Forbidden Love's been flying this prep and that form sort of stacking up around her now. But the one I was sort of interested in was Private Eye, possibly. Goes very well fresh. It's been trialling pretty well. Swims. And obviously it went to a new level last prep. So I think it's a pretty even race. But I think those two are probably the key chances for mine.
Yeah, tricky one. This is Forbidden Love winning last weekend. And she really should be 2 from 2 this preparation. Like, she was luckless first up behind Overpass, who is a pretty good form reference for this. And with any clear running in the straight earlier, she would have won, no doubt in my mind. She came out and bolted in last weekend, obviously. That was on a heavy 10. So my query with her is that they tend to space her runs, but here she is on the quick backup after last weekend, taking on a Group 1. So that would be my worry with her. If she was able to repeat that performance from last start, and even the one from first up, Animo was back on third first up. So the form is very good. If she can repeat it, I think she's the horse to beat. But yeah, that little query about them spacing her runs and now coming here on the quick backup, it's the only little thing that worries me with her.
Yeah,
James, go on.
Sorry, I think she's backed up once before on a 1 week turnaround. I think it might have been.
Didn't she?
Yeah, I think it was in the Golden Eagle. So she was a pretty big price, but I guess that's something to take into account there if you're thinking about something like that.
James McDonald's the other one who kind of confuses me a bit, because he rode Law of Indices first up for Annabelle Neesham. I thought the run was pretty fairly good behind Lost and Running. Pull the replay up as we speak. This was him finishing 5th, beaten less than 3.5 lengths by Lost and Running, who obviously just kind of toyed with his rivals. Back in second was Overpass. We've mentioned that form reference through Forbidden Love first up. So it all kind of ties in. And this horse first up over 1,200 metres, I just don't think was necessarily suited. I actually had something on him this day and conceded that he would be much better suited kind of once he gets up in distance with a run under his belt. So he strikes me as sort of a Doncaster kind of horse, I think. So whether they're... I don't really know what they've got him set for, but he just strikes me as a Doncaster sort of horse. So I just find it really interesting after that first up run that James McDonald does jump off him to ride Lighthouse, who finished second in the CF4 Stakes behind Tofane. This was her effort. She's flying. Like, how many Kieran Mara, David Eustace horses do we see that just turn up week after week and just continue to run well? She's had 15 starts for 7 wins and 5 minor placings. So she's only missed the placings on 3 times throughout her career. She's won on both soft and heavy ground. And like I said, you can't discount her with J-Mac jumping on and just continues to turn up and run well. But how do you think that Melbourne form is kind of going to stack up here in Sydney?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to go okay. I mean, Lighthouse, I think she's going very well, and I think she ran better than I expected her to last start. So I wasn't sure if she was good enough in these Group 1s, but that sort of proved it to me. So I think she's going to go okay. And like you said, J-Mac jumping on, that's very
Pretty
interesting.
good
So
lead.
yeah, and jumping off Law Indices, as you said.
Yeah, if he had stuck with Laws of Indices, like I would have really kind of butted up here, I think. But him jumping off just kind of throws me a little bit. Notable that first up run from Laws of Indices was on good ground. He's now had 5 starts on good ground for no placings, and all 3 career wins have been on rain affected ground. So perhaps he'll grow a leg in these conditions. Tommy Berry replaces J-Mac, obviously. Talk to me about Dice Roll, who just flies fresh. Last preparation, first up, sat wide throughout, was beaten a nose by Sierra Sue. We've obviously seen Sierra Sue come out and win again last weekend at Group 1 level. How do you think he'll line up here in Sydney? Blinkers back on.
Yeah, like I said, flies fresh. I think the query for me might be, does he want a bit further? But he's definitely a good sort of chance. So I can't knock him if you want to back him at 23s. But my only query would be, are they a bit too quick for him over 1300?
Yeah, I think betting wise, I probably will be having something small on Private Eye. He's a horse, unbelievable. He's had 8 wins from 15 starts, and I'm about to say he's a horse that I can't catch. But I'll probably have something on him and something on Laws of Indices. If I jump off Laws of Indices this time around and he happens to win, I'll be pretty crook. So that's probably the way I'll go. I'll take on J-Mac and I'll take on Forbidden Love, and probably it'll hurt me, but that's my initial impression of the Canterbury Stakes. We'll move on to the next Group 1, which is the Randwick Guineas. Really only 3 horses to reference here, those being Animo, Converge, and Halal, all of which come out of the Hobartville Stakes last start, where we saw Animo just cling on to beat Halal, who got up on the rail. What did you make of this win from Animo? Because it looked here at about 300 like he was going to put a space on him. And he kind of just did enough.
Yeah, I think you'll notice when Halal actually kicks up on his inside and levels up, like he finds another gear almost. So like sort of here. Like
he just makes sure he wins.
Yeah, so I think Halal's gone huge. Like it's come back enormous, Halal. So I honestly think it's one of those two. I don't know if you can dive into Animo at the price on the bog track at the moment, but yeah, I think it's a pretty long tail, this race.
What did you make of Converge?
Like you said earlier, before about Private Eye, he's a horse that I can't catch. I don't know. He's obviously good enough to win this. Whether he can win on rain affected, I think he's a proper dry tracker. Yeah, that's probably my knock on him, but no doubt he's good enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just absolutely can't see how we can dive into $1.80 about Animo after that win. Like, I agree with you. I think, he's come again and made sure he got the job done when Halal got up on his inside. But on a proper wet deck, like this is going to be a proper heavy 10 kind of thing. From barrier 9, like he was able to lob 1-1 from the barrier last start. Whether J-Mac's going to end up there again remains to be seen. I doubt it. He just wasn't convincing enough.
Yeah, if he's come out and gapped him last start, I mean, I could sort of understand not taking, but seeing him at that price. But like Halal's really tested him there, and I think the price difference here is probably too big for mine.
And this Hawke stable just know how to get these horses like bang on for their grand final. And no doubt, like he was there to win last start, but you can rest assured that he'll be absolutely 110% for a Group 1 here.
I think you could say the same for the jockey as well. I think he's pretty keen to win one over it.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, $1.80 is a bit skinny. If it's all price dependent, isn't it? I'd have Halal just narrowly ahead of Converge. Up to 1,600, I think we'll probably see the best of Converge. But I take your point about being a dry tracker or a wet tracker.
Yeah.
So for me, the prices, I'd be leaning the way of Halal, but with no real firm opinion. I wouldn't be diving in one way or the other. I'd be pretty happy to sit out and just watch, depending on what the market does.
Yep, I'm the same.
All right, let's shift over to the Australian Guineas over at Flemington. Of course, the Group 1 on the card there. This comes up as race number 7 on the card. Similar sort of race scenario, 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds. Talk us through your thoughts here.
Yeah, so I think my thinking for this race is I want to be against the fresh horses. I think if you look through the history of the race, I don't think a horse has ever won it first up. So that sort of takes me away from the two at the top of the market, where I'm not saying they can't win, but I'm sort of looking past them. So I was pretty keen on Captivant. He's been set for this. He's third up now. He was pretty good. Well, actually, he's very good running on with, I think it was the top weight last start in the CS Hayes. He's run a second in the Caulfield Guineas. Good barrier, top jockey on. I think this is a perfect setup for him targeting this race. The other horse I want to back is probably the up and comer. Bit of X factor about him is Pinstriped. He's got some serious closing speed, and I think his wins to date have been like pretty enormous. So he's done well to run down Pesquero there. And I don't know, it's just a question of how good he could be. So he's sort of the X factor that I want to have something on, who's going to be running on late.
So Captivant around $7.50, Pinstriped around $8 with betdeluxe.com.au. It's such a confusing race. Profondo and Hitotsu. You know, Hitotsu coming off a 2,500 metre Derby win, but for a stable that just continues to do freakish things.
And that was a serious Derby win.
Yeah, wasn't it? And Profondo coming off, obviously, the Spring Champion win, comes into this first up over the mile. Do the draws necessarily affect your thinking here? Like Profondo drawn out in 15 at all? Surely you'd be getting. He has to go forward.
I think that probably actually makes it almost easier for them, whether like instead of getting stuck in two minds from that, like a decent draw. I think Barrier 15 they have to go forward. So I think you're gonna know what you get with Profondo there. But yeah, I don't know. Like he can obviously win. He's obviously classy, one of the better colts going around. But like I said, first up 1,600 against a few of these who are race fit. I don't know. I'm sort of leaving him. The other one that I sort of wanted to touch on was I think Lightsaber is probably one of the better value chances here. My thoughts behind that was I think you can completely forgive last start. Missed the kick there, and he was very good first up. I mean, if he runs okay last start, I think it was at CF4 he's running.
Yeah.
Like if he runs okay there, he's probably half this price. So he's gonna jump to probably the lead or just off outside leader.
We hope.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's the query. But
that's the plan. The barrier blanket does go on for the first time to try and help him get out of the gate.
Yeah, he's 2 from 2 third up. So I think Moody's going to have him ready to go here. And I think he can sort of run them along up top and take some catching. $14, $4 the place.
What about, to me, looking at it from a Sydney perspective, does $18 about Ranch Hand appeal? I mean, he's run second to Palele first up with Converge back in third, and he's then run fourth, beaten less than 2 lengths behind Animo, Halal, and Converge again in the Hobartville. Comes here third up. I know Waller had, I think, him and Coastwatch in both sets of guineas, and he split them one each way. Craig Williams booked a ride. Third up, like Waller's a master of getting these horses ready for the grand finals, similar to what I was saying about the Hawk stable. And we've seen it even with, was it Revolutionary Miss, who ran enormous in Melbourne and then ran second, I think, beating the lip in the Blue Diamond, bringing that Sydney form. Like, this is serious A-grade form, Animo, Halal, Converge. And sometimes that can be enough to kind of get them over the line when they go down to Melbourne. So, to me, $18 about Ranch Hand's definitely a big price.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think Waller's going to, obviously, he always seems to pull the right rein. The only question would be maybe the mile, but no, I can't knock that at $17.
Back onto firm ground. Anyway, intriguing race. Just to recap for you, you're with Captivant 750 and Pinstriped at around $8. And I've got no real firm opinion, but I wouldn't be letting Ranch Hand go around to $18, something each way for the battlers there. Any other thoughts before we round things out?
No, not really. It should be a good card of racing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. So you'll have a race-by-race preview for Flemington on racingBet.com.au. I'll have a race-by-race preview of Randwick on the website. We'll also try and get out a couple of runner-by-runner previews for the Group 1s if we can, or one or two of them. And if you're looking for a little bit more bang for your buck, make sure you join our premium Discord group, or if you just want a taster, you can sign up for a free trial with a couple of the packages. So you can head to the RacingBet website, head to the premium tips page, and join the Discord group that way. It's been a really profitable week for all involved, and you can get some extra selections that we don't put on the website, as well as some early mail, early prices, and early bets for the weekend. So plenty of value there. It's very cost effective. So if you want to dip your toe in and see what it's all about, you can head to the RacingBet website and head to premium tips, and you can find all the information you need there. Billy, thanks for your company this week. Thanks to betdeluxe.com.au for their continued support. And hopefully we found the punters a few winners. Look forward to chatting to you over the weekend.
Yep. Thanks, Tim. Cheers.